Hello, my name is Zoya. I am the hair loss and hair extension specialist here at our salon, and I want to talk about the topic we have for our this week's vlog about hair extension and how it can address and help with your fine and thinning hair. All right, the very first thing you need to know is your underlying cause and issue for your hair loss or hair thinning. There's some people that they have never had thick hair. They've always had fine thinning hair. And then as they get a little bit older, even with birth control, with pregnancy, or even menopause, the hair just gets thinner and thinner, and they have more of a female pattern hair loss. What is female pattern hair loss? Female pattern hair loss for women, they don't normally go bald in the back of their head, or they're not necessarily just like men who they start having receding hairline. They start getting thinner. That is what happens with female pattern hair loss. You just kind of like feel your hair is a bit more diffused and thinner all over. Or if you already have had very fine hair right around here, now you can see a little bit more of your hairline. That is female pattern hair loss, and I have to say about over 98% of hair loss in women, it is androgenetic. But we have all different kind of hair loss. We have problem with telogen effluvium, which when your hair and your body goes through the shock and your hair can't take it, actually that's where it gets the hit first. And then you might have problem actually with trichotillomania, which is a disorder with hair pulling. You might have some problem with alopecia areata, or you have other challenges, other different forms of alopecia, and that is important to know if it is scarring alopecia or non-scarring, which is not as permanent. But that is the very first thing you need to know, so you can have some solutions for that. So that helps you with stabilizing hair loss and knowing what kind of intervention you need to do for your hair loss. But hair extensions are great for enhancing your hair, camouflaging the problem that you have, and helping you go through the treatment period. Number one question I get asked is that if hair extension damage your hair. There's a long answer and there's a short answer. I would say no. The reason I say that, I know I can be biased, but as somebody who has dealt with hair loss for years, it is actually something I am still going through, and I have had very recently, I've had another episode of going through major problem with shedding and actually a bald spot back on my head. You need to know what type of hair loss you have. Your hair extension can help you camouflage or help you go through the situation. Your hair extension cannot make your hair grow, but if you don't take the actual precaution and find the right application and right type for your hair, you can actually aggravate the situation. The hair extension needs to be taken care of very good, properly, and the person who applies it on your hair need to know what they're doing. The example I use is you will not go to a general doctor if you had a back surgery. So please do not go to your regular stylist if you want to get hair extension. You need to go to an extension specialist. Now, let me break down different types of hair extension, and I will give you my opinion about what I like the most. There are actually practically 5 categories that we put the extensions at our salon. So I'm going to start with my actually favorite. My favorite method is keratin fusion extensions. Keratin fusion extensions are absolutely seamless. You can't see them. They are very tiny. They last well over 4 to 4.5 months, sometimes 5 months, depends on your hair and what you're trying to do. They are completely discreet. They act just like the better version of your own hair. Hot keratin fusion attached. So I actually have a bundle of hair in front of me. Depends on the density of the person. So we get, normally the hair that we get is pre-tipped. This is a full-size bond. Depends on the density that you have. Most people are going through hair loss. They cannot use a full bond. So we customize the size of the bond based on their hair. This is literally 1/3 of actually the size of my nails. So if I was going to put that in, it needs to be density to density. Keratin fusion has such a bad rep because over, I would say 9.9 out of 10 situations, people apply it incorrectly. They don't do a good color blend. They don't do a right match. So what it ends up growing out as, it looks like a whole bunch of like a shoestring. So keratin fusion extension, it takes the most expertise out of all the other methods that I am about to tell you. But if they are working for you and they are suitable for your texture, for your hair, they are by far one of my favorite. That is what I've been actually specialized for years. But I do believe there is time and a purpose for everything. So not all the time that will work for everyone. Keratin fusion, perfect for giving you volume, giving you some length. It can give you good amount of length, but if someone going for a double amount of their length, or if their hair is super thick and they are wanting to go for like a lot of length, keratin fusion, they look a little stringy. If you are going through an active shedding, keratin fusion extensions are not the best method because they are actually practically attached to your own hair. There are no maintenance involved. Once you take the hair out, or if the hair happens to shed or falls out, you can't revive that hair. You actually just gonna have to take the hair and get some new hair. So with that being said, if someone going through a major active shedding and their hair falls out a lot, you want to switch to a different method. But if your hair loss is kind of sort of stabilized and you know what's going on, keratin fusion, I love it. Actually, that's what I am wearing right now. It's kind of hard on my hair to show that because my hair is dark and black, but the strand, actually I am using double density right now on the side because my hair is healthy. So this is one strand, and I know it is very hard to see. The hair generally grows out about this far before we take him out and start all over again. The hair is not reusable, so it can be costly, but at the same time, if you want the most natural looking, just seamless, perfect extensions, would be keratin fusion. A lot of people ask me if K-tip is the same as keratin fusion, or if it's grit lengths, or if it's hair dream. It all goes back to the application and the actually polymer, the type of polymer the hair is made of. I don't like glue or wax. If the application looks kind of dirty, or like it doesn't look seamless, you know you haven't got a good fusion. So it is very important for the bonds to lay very flat and seamless. So again, that is my absolute favorite. I can't talk about it enough, but again, that's not for everybody. My second favorite would be the weft method. Weft has got a lot of, actually, I would say, media and I would say coverage the past few years. These days, everybody kind of, when they refer to extensions, they talk about weft extensions. I'm not saying it is easy to apply. What I am saying is it's gotten a lot more common because there's been a lot of marketing around it. I personally actually used to just resist it as much. I say, no, it looks like weave. I don't want to do it. I don't want to learn it. I don't want to even deep dive into it. And I had to kind of cave. And when I caved, I liked it. And I had to say, okay, submit, I got it. So what is weft? I have a few types of hair here, so I am going to see if I can find one. For the sake of the video, you gotta forgive me. So this is considered one weft. It is a row of hair that is being hand tied, sewn, machine sewn, or whatever around this one string. How that works is we use a beaded foundation. We place certain kind of beads to hold the hair in certain positions, and then we stitch the hair around it. You guys get some dog action. So this is not very clean on the video, but how I want to show this is a very, like I would say, basic forms of foundation. You get many different names for this form of application. You have NBR, you have IBE, you may hear SKW, you may hear Kelsey Welsh method. There are many different names. What makes the difference is the foundation and how you place the foundation and how you stitch the weft. In general, I'm going to put them all in one category. I say weft extensions. We place the row of hair that I showed on this foundation, and we use a thin thread to stitch this on a side of the beads. Having to try to show you, I need to switch, and there we go. So this is one row of weft. You can attach a ton of hair in one row. As you see, actually, this is a IBE method to where the beads are hidden. You don't see anything. The awesome things about it, it gives you a lot of thickness and fullness all at once. You are still able to 100% put your hair up and down, which again, with fusion, is exactly similar. But the weft method became my second favorite thing, and what I love about it is the hair needs to be maintained about every 6 to 8 weeks. Generally with fine hair, we don't recommend going over 6 weeks. Why is that? The hair starts shifting down. You have hair growth, and we have many people that they say, oh, my hair doesn't grow that much. Your hair grows anything between a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, sometimes a little bit more per month. So when we're talking about 6 weeks or 8 weeks, your weft has came down about this much. So what is important is to remove all the beads, comb out the shedded hair, and then re-stitch the weft. The best part about it, the hair is reusable. So if someone going through an active shedding, I say fusion can be a little wonky, because again, once the strand, because your hair is attached to very small square inch of your hair. So once you're going through so much shedding, you're gonna lose the strands. But with the weft extension, you're able to get that fullness and thickness without worry about losing the hair. So the hair gets to be reused and the weft gets to be moved up, and it feels it's tight and it feels like it's up there, and you're not worrying about the hair shedding too much or having stress spots or areas that have been so much thinned out because there's pressure. So that is the best thing about the weft, and the fact that you can practically reuse the weft about 6 months, sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends on how you take care of it and how you baby the hair. So that has become by far my second favorite, and generally when you come to my salon, I would offer you one form of fusion or the weft, because those two are my top 2 favorites. Let me tell you about the other two, and I'll tell you all the pros and cons about them. The third method that we offer is tape-in extensions. Um, I'll give you my perspective on that. How this works is, as you see, it is like about two tabs. So the hair is about a weft of hair that is like about a couple of inches wide. Sometimes it can be a little bit smaller based on the manufacturer, maybe a little bit longer. You might have hair look like growing from the top. There are various different kinds. I feel like the tape-in extensions are kind of in between, I would say, a weft and the strand by strand method. I definitely say that it became very popular because tape-in extensions became like very popular and got introduced to the market when the whole SEO, search engine optimization, the whole blogger kind of era came around, and everybody start blogging about how great they are. And don't get me wrong, I like it for certain things. I like it when I just have to do a pop of color somewhere and I don't want just a strand hanging look like a little spaghetti, like in the middle. Because like nothing is worse than seeing just one strand, like one like rope of somebody, and it's like you have dark hair and then you got one rope of something hanging. I feel like it's great if you want even like crazy color, you want purple, blue, whatever, or you are very, very, very fine and you just need something right there. You have a patch missing, whatever. That works perfectly. Do I like it for all over the head? No. My point, and again, my personal experience after 25 years. First time when I apply it is fantastic. When I remove and try to reapply the same tape, the tape never feels as flat, never feels as clean. And the way it grows out, sometimes it grows out this way, sometimes it grows out this way, sometimes we want to start sliding. Personally, I don't like something that looks just kind of wonky. And then it would leave a dirty glue residue. That's my perspective. So I would say no. Sorry, you asked me here. And the fourth kind, it would be the microbeads. Microbeads look at first very similar to fusion. So, okay. So this is one strand of microbeads. I don't know if I'm going to get it close to the camera. See, the hair is like, they call it like an eye tip. So it looks like one. So the hair looks like an eye. Very similar to fusion. Fusion, you see this, but it's like a flat. But then when we apply it, it looks like this. But the way microbead works is you have these little beads, cylinder that are round, and then you apply them to the head, so you slide that through. Good thing about them, the hair is reusable. Bad thing about them, I haven't yet been able to try to figure out how to hide this big beads that they call a micro. I don't think there's anything micro about them. I feel like these beads, regardless of the color, regardless of what it is, like you see, the beads are kind of like it used to be actually round, we flatten them. What I don't like about them is you have all these points of attachments, and you put the hair in there, and then the hair needs to be moved up about 6 to 8 weeks accordingly. You either have to put so much hair in that like square, or if you don't put enough hair, it's going to feel just not as sturdy. So there are too many points of attachment, and 9 out of 10, I feel like you can't hide the beads. I come from a background, or actually not say background, but I have very, very sensitive head. Not just me, again, I know like you don't want that many points of attachment with metal beads on your head. everybody is different. I know a lot of younger girls that they have a lot of hair and then they can tolerate it. Personally, I don't think it works for fine thin hair at all. I always say it works for dark, thick, curly hair. If you decide to go with the strand by strand method, if you had dark, thick, curly hair, I would say weft method. But alternative to strand by strand, that would be the case. Okay, so this was 4 methods. I know I've already talked too much, but the fifth one. The fifth method is actually a small topper. Toppers are extensions for top of the head. There's this huge stigma about toppers, which I don't understand. Maybe it's the name. If you change that to something else, maybe just make it a crown. I don't know, make it a just whatever. It would be different. But toppers are practically hair that goes on top, crown, or top of your head. And it's just everywhere beside. So toppers come in many different sizes, forms, and shape. So this is a small, called them T-size topper. If you look at that, it's very, very tiny. But look at the amount of hair that you would get for just this. And guess what? You don't have to put it all over your head. This will go on your hair part. Of course, again, I'm black, so this looks hideous on me. But toppers are extensions for top of the head. Toppers come in many different size, in forms, and shape. If you have thinning and major thinning on top of the head and you just need something, topper, this is a very small topper. And then you go to a little bit of a larger topper. This is not a wig. This is breathable. It's a mesh, and you can wash your hair with it. You can shower. You can do anything with it. And it's just like extensions. But there's still, I feel like, this huge stigma about toppers that they're like wigs. They're like that toupee that everybody think is super fake. They're not. But anyways, this is the fifth type of extensions for top of the head that we offer. I love to introduce you to toppers. Toppers, you don't have to be bald to have them. You don't have to just go through even a whole lot of hair trouble. I have about 5 probably toppers at this point that I like, and each one of them are different sizes. I do struggle with androgenetic alopecia, but I do have some sort of autoimmune problem that I get this little spots, certain part of my head, and I have bald spots. But since I have all of this hair right here, some of them mine, some of them are still mine, but I paid for them versus I grew them. And sometimes I need my toppers, but sometimes I don't. I'm not going to make this stupid little like pony and spread them out, because what's important for me is to get that coverage on top. So I do use them. Do I use them all the time? No, but my situation is different. So I know this video was so long, but I like to break down all of these types of attachments for you to know. It's very hard for you to determine what is going to work for you. If you are an existing guest and we are working with you and you have one type of extension, so maybe you try to talk to me, unless I know what you're wanting, I always believe in going based on your comfort zone. So we would love to talk to you. We do offer actually a virtual consultation as well. If you're not an existing guest and you live in a different state, I can still help you. Either I can customize something for you and send it away, or I may be able to find someone in your state or your town that I can maybe help and have you go to them, and we may collaborate and figure out something that works for you. You're not alone. And I want to say we're here to support you. As somebody who's gone through hair loss, still struggling with it, I love to help you and give you options. So until next time, just bye and let me know in the comments, and just text us, email us, anything. I'd love to find out a different subject to talk about, and just kind of let you know. So I'm here to help. Ciao.